Hello, welcome back. In this video we're going to be talking about redundancy. Redundancy questions are rare on the writing section of the SAT. However, it's important that you can spot them easily to save time. So redundancy questions deal with wordiness. So just basically ask yourself if a sentence is saying something and then saying it again. Now to be consistent with what we mentioned earlier, generally the right answers are shorter. So if you see a long answer, question whether or not you can make it shorter. And if you can and you don't lose any meaning, odds are it's redundant. So simply put, ask yourself if the sentence is repetitive, and if it is, you're probably dealing with a redundancy issue. Redundancy trap number 1. Oftentimes the question or the sentence you're dealing with will have a word and its definition. So an example of this would be, the dramatic movie filled with drama caused people to cry. We called it a dramatic movie, so we don't need to say it's filled with drama. That would be redundant. So to fix it, we would just say the dramatic movie caused people to cry. The second trap that redundancy uses is the word and its opposite. So this is a little less obvious, so pay attention to how we explain this. Basically, it's not necessary to define a word and then state the opposite definition right after it. So example would be, the private golf club, which is not public, is very well maintained. Since we know it's a private golf club, we know it automatically isn't public, and we don't need to mention it. So the correct version of this sentence would state, the private golf club is very well maintained. So let's look at 2 example problems. The first problem says, many people exercise from time to time, but fail to make their routines permanent and keep doing them. Now, the idea of something being permanent is that it's done in perpetuity, and you don't need to say keep doing them. So if you question whether a sentence is redundant, look at the shortest answer, in this case that's D, and ask yourself if that's a reasonable answer. Fail to make their routines permanent sounds fine, and the meaning has been maintained, so D is in fact correct. Looking at all the other answers, permanent and keep doing them, permanent and have them keep happening, permanently to keep doing them, these are all redundant and quite wordy. So again, redundancy questions are generally wordy, or I should say redundant answers are generally wordy. In the second example here, we have, no one is more happy than I that you aced the exam. The redundancy component here is that you don't need more and happier. So again, we look down and we see, no one is as happy like me. That does not work. No one is more happy like me. No one is more happier than me. No one is happier than I that you aced the exam would be the correct answer here.